Hello, welcome. It is me, Danielle Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. And you see, if you are not listening to this via podcast and you are just watching me, you see I have this little mic that irks me because I can't figure out what is wrong with my microphone. Anyway, we won't bore you guys with the logistics of that, but just know that I am slightly annoyed. Anyway, Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, and clearly it's affecting me, and I have to redo something, slow down, and figure out a system of some sort. There is a lesson in everything. I always believe that. Anyway, we are here, and we're going to talk about Ibrahim Traoré. I can't say his name, and I don't want to be disrespectful. I just actually learned about him yesterday. So I did not learn how to pronounce his name. However, I personally have a problem with pronouncing a lot of words. So let me put his name in here and say how to say it. How to say it? How can you ask Google how to say things? Okay, here we go. Is it gonna pronounce it for me? Wait. Ibrahim Tro? Is that how you say his name? I don't know, you guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, let me bring up his chart. We are going to talk about I have a picture of him. And I'm gonna break down his chart and we are going to actually I have an intro that I wrote, so let me read that. If you're not you're not just watching history. See how authentic this is? You're watching prophecy in motion. I actually talked about this in my Neptune Aries video, and that's what made me create this video, because when I was thinking of Neptune and Aries, I'm like, what happened? I know some things have to had to have happened in my predictions. I know I've already said that IDs and pictures of IDs and that becoming a thing. If you're not in America, to travel, you have to have this real ID. Like, what was the other ID anyway? But in this video today, I am going to break down the birth chart of Ibrahim Traoré or Traoré. Yes, they are saying that he is the next Malcolm X, which I've said in a video I've already done before. He's a revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso. I might be saying the names wrong. This is in West Africa, that country. And I'm going to break it down through astrology and tarot. So let me tell you, with this Neptune entering Aries, and then we have some Pluto involved with his Pluto. I'm going to talk about some predictions and what that's going to look like. But he is rising to power, and there is also destiny involved in this too. We'll talk about that. But I'm excited about this because this is something that I predicted. This is something that I immediately thought of when I saw Neptune entering Aries. And now I'm seeing it manifest and seeing how it's going to work out. And I'm hoping it works out. I mean, it's working out, but in the prediction part, but far as this movement, because it's really amazing. Okay. So if you're here to know everything about him, because I'm going to talk about him himself and then astrology, tarot, predictions, and all, then you are at the right place.
3, 2, 1.
I love you. Okay, so let me tell you his history here. Well, first of all, he was born March 14th, 1988. He took over as president of Burkina Faso. Actually, let me add the map to let me actually add what does the location look like. Let me see. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me pull this. How can I save this to my computer? Save as. Okay. Let's see if I can. I can't do new things, you guys, at once. This is on my, hold on. This is on my notes. I use Notion, if anyone is interested. And, okay. Can I drag this on here? No, it won't let me drag it on here. And I don't have patience for stuff. Okay, it's called World. It's on my downloads. Hold. Here we go. We got it. Okay, so let me tell you the location of where he is. Okay, this is West Africa. If you guys are not familiar, West Africa is like the closest part to Brazil. It's where the slave trade occurred. There is Ghana there. I've been to Ghana. I've been to Senegal. I have never been to Burkina Faso. I've actually never heard of it. And look, it's so close to Ghana. It's on the coast of it's on the border of Ghana there and Nigeria. That is a very popular place that people know, and Mali is even close there. So, yeah, and he is doing the thing. Okay, so let me say some things of what he's doing if you don't know. Okay, he took over as president. September 30th. I should have looked at that 2022. He was then officially named the president officially October 6th of 2022. I always have to have the dates as an astrologer. And what do we have here? Um, so he didn't get voted into presidency. He did a coup because people were tired. Okay, they were tired of the leader before. I think the president's name was Paul Henry Santiago Dambia. I apologize if I say the names were wrong, but that president was up to no good and he was doing shady. Is that a shocker? No. We already know how Africa gets down. There's no surprise. And this guy is this new guy, Ibrahim, is no joke. He is Father Abraham. Had many sons. Well, no, he may not be that, but he is hardcore. Let me see. He became a military officer and politician who served. Wait, no. Okay. At the age of 37, he's the second youngest head of state in the world. And he started, I think, in the army in 2000. He graduated from a military academy. Then he was promoted as lieutenant in 2014. And then he joined this group called Masuma, I am sorry if I'm pronouncing it, a United Nations peacekeeping force involved in the Mali War. In 2018, he was cited as one of the Musima's soldiers and who showed courage. He was promoted to captain in 2020, and he came to power in 2022. Not by elections. It was by popular military coup. They backed by everyday people in his country because the previous government had completely failed to defend the country against jihadists, terror groups, and groups who laundered money for self enrichment and was U.S. backed after the overthrow of oh gosh, I can't say these things. Um, Gaddafi. Gaddafi. That sounds right. So it's Gaddafi. Anyway, he's basically said, you Western people, get out of here. USA and France, we do not want your influences. We don't want your control. We don't want the colonizers to take over us anymore. The people of his country were tired of French and American influences, and he wants their resources to stay in their homeland. Since taking power, he has cut military ties with France. He has expelled French troops. Let me see. He's expelled French troops and demanded control over his country's gold, land, and future. He's also built roads. He made education free. He also never raised his own salary. He is still under a captain's salary. He has partnered with China and Russia. America ain't happy with that one. Survived multiple assassinations. He is somewhat like 50 Cent. 50 Cent got shot in the face like several times. But he's better because he's like several attempts, several coups, plots to remove him. They even tried to hire his own personal bodyguard to kill him, give him $5 million. I think America tried to do that. I don't know. That's the word around the street. I've heard that from the tickety talk. Okay. On Western media, that's involving my group. America is calling him erratic and paranoid. And around the world, the African diaspora, they love him. You're talking about people in Paris, people in Harlem, people in Africa. And this is the age of Western. Oh, I'm thinking I'm hearing something. Western world trying to take over, that is ending. You see that with this guy stepping into power here. Okay. So I told you where it's located. And according to Western officials, let me see. Oh, wait. Okay. Let me see what else. I have my notes, but I was jotting them real fast because I was doing this while working out. Don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. They said, oh, they are mad because they're saying he's a dictator. This is what the West is trying to promote. Okay. Trump started it. He said it's fake news. Hello, it's people are waking up to that. They may not want to give it the props to Trump, but I feel like that's kind of what it started for me, this awareness of it. But the mass media is saying that also too. I think I said something about the mass media and how there's independent media. That's Pluto and Aquarius, if we're talking astrology here. And while Pluto's in Aquarius, they want to control over the media across the board. So even though it's independent media, so like me having this YouTube channel and you're learning something from me, I could be corrupted too. I could be getting paid on the low, which that is something that they're very much infiltrated. Yes, they're infiltrating that. Now, Obama was like, we can't have independent media. We can't give them the power. However, they have already jumped that system and they're paying independent media and telling them what to say. So use your discernment, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, but the Western media, because they don't like that, they want to have control. They're used to being the colonizers. They're saying that he's a dictator, and but that's not the case. From what his people are saying, they're like, we love him. And yeah, let me see what else it says. Indigenous leadership in French speaking countries in Africa. All these countries now are rising up. Anyone that is like colonized by France, they're like, you know what, no, this is not working. So the other countries that are aligned with him, let me see. It says Nahir. Um, is that Niger? Is that how it's pronounced? Nahir? I'm sorry, I don't know. I did major in Africana studies in undergrad, but we mostly talked about African Americans. Okay, I just want you to understand that. But Mali also is even connected. Even Ghana. So everyone who looks like touching him he's trying to get them all. He's like, come on, you guys, we need to work together. And they're being influenced by him, which is great. Western society is saying it's not right because he wasn't elected. They're like, no, he needs to be voted. But his own people are like, look at here, we love this. Okay. Meanwhile, also too, which is crazy for America to say he wasn't elected. What about that leader who's in charge of Israel? I think he's supposed to be stepping down. He didn't step down. He wasn't voted to stay, but it is what it is. They pick and choose who they like. So in my old video, which was it was titled Neptune in Aries, is on my 2025 playlist. Check it out. It is still very much active and current and working. Okay. It is telling you some tea. If you want to know the tea, what's going to happen this year, it's still juicy over there. Okay. So in that playlist, there is a video called Neptune in Aries. And in there, just in this brief section, I took a little bits of the notes on there. I talk about Neptune in Aries in this part. And so I'm going to relate it to this video, but Neptune represents compassion. It represents idealism. It represents a vision, the ability to dissolve the ego to serve others. It inspires humanitarian efforts and self-sacrifice for a greater cause. It's about the collective consciousness, dreams, spirituality. Neptune encourages healing. Also too, in my notes, which I didn't say in that video because I felt like it would go over people's heads, but now I'm learning, when I do the predictions, I need to say it all. But Neptune also represents the unknown, things that people don't see clearly, things that are hidden. Clearly, this country is something that the world has ignored. I don't know if that's the case with you, but as I'm going to speak for myself and in my household and the people I contact, I didn't even know this country exists. And I have that in my notes. Countries that don't exist, foreign lands, is what Neptune also represents. Okay, so things that are hidden and unknown and unseen. Now, when you talk about Aries, Aries is talking about the first time. The individual, it represents visionary, represents leadership, it represents independent, it represents something new, beginnings, trailblazers, initiation, action, leadership. Aries excels in leadership roles, bringing vision to a lot of projects and self-starting energy. Okay, it's about pioneering. It's a fire sign. All fire signs are very passionate and bold and courageous and energetic and dynamic, and there's action and they spark inspiration. They get it started. They're innovators, and there's strength, there's courage, and there's bravery and enthusiasm. Also too, with Aries is very direct and honest. Mars is the ruler of Aries, so there isn't fear. You're talking about the planet that is about the war, warfare. It's very masculine, it's very yang, it's very fiery energy. It's all about the outside, not the external energy. So when you have Neptune in the sign Aries, you have spiritual warriors, you have spiritual leadership. In my video, I literally said Malcolm X. We are going to be seeing a Malcolm X. And this is what they are comparing him to when you go on TikTok. If you type in his name, you will see a lot of TikToks comparing him to Malcolm X. Very Malcolm X energy is literally what I had on my notes. Very Malcolm X energy. Also, too, you have someone who is dealing with religion, who is assertive, someone who's caring about the less fortunate, who is strong and brave, someone who's caring about a collective, and who is going to be bold and fearless. That is what you get, leading to fearless exploration of realms and visionary. Like, I see something bigger for the collective. Very Malcolm X energy, and that is what we have here. So Neptune in Aries, it entered Aries March 30th, 2025. And you have themes of things that I said, like a revolutionary leader. You're talking about spirituality. You're talking about visionary. You're talking about visionary when it comes to nationalism. Yeah, very much warrior. Now, also too, when you have Neptune, you have martyrdom. Okay, someone who sacrifices a lot. I want to say, because you have this could be a death of a leader. I do want you to understand that that is what Neptune in Aries can translate. Neptune does represent endings. It represents a sacrifice. So you do have that. That is a possibility. Yeah, but you also have this energy of beginning and new. And so then, meaning that not beginning and new, ending and new. So an ending of a thought, an ending of this energy of lack and not having, an ending of that and beginning something. And I was wondering, like, how is this going to translate, this ending of something and beginning of something and it being together? Well, this ending of people being colonized in Africa and them having control over Africa, that's been a long time coming. Okay, let me see what else we have. From shattered ideas emerges fearless and reimagining of the future. You have that. The rise of symbolic warriors. You have that. Let me see if I have anything else. Mythic symbol. Oh, also too. This energy could also represent like a godlike complex. In some way positive, in some way negative, like someone really like worshiping this one person or idolizing this one person, but also being illusioned of this person, like making them, because there's like an illusion of it, and not saying that he isn't amazing and this intelligent person, and we'll break down his chart. At the same time, it could be like bigger, that could be the shadow side of it. On the positive side, though, it's what, oh, romancing, that's the word, romancing him. So, like, he's still human, everyone. I want you to understand that, just like Malcolm X was human and Martin Luther King was a human. So there is this human energy, but he is a powerful leader, very articulate, very strong, very intelligent. Okay, let me see. Yeah, let me see. Focal, youth led. Oh, that's the other thing. Youth led. Now, Aries does represent the beginning. It could represent youth energy. That's more Gemini, but like the baby of the zodiac is what you get. So you have this youth energy element added to it. Now I'm going to break down his chart. Let me bring it up, and we are going to talk about Mr. Ibrahim. Where is my chart? Here we go. We are going to talk about it. And Mr. Ibrahim, I got a lot going on. Oh, I was looking at the eclipse. Let me remove them. Seeing if the eclipse is going to affect him at all. Now, we don't have a birth time with him, just so you know. So we don't know what time he's born. That makes things and predictions a little bit harder, but I can tell you a lot about him from just the day he's born. He has a Capricorn stallion. Anyone born from 1988 to 1990 has a stallion. And so it's more of a generational thing, but you have Pluto, you have Saturn, you have Uranus. They're all sitting close to each other here. Well, ignore the descendant. Let me take the rising signs off of here so we won't confuse anyone, because we don't have his birth time. But these three planets here, this is a generational one. So this is anyone born from 1988 to 1990. You guys, randomly, I am like craving jasmine tea. Like right now, this second, I'm like, I want jasmine tea. That is the inner fat person, even though I know tea could be very low calorie because I don't put any calories in it, but it's just like, very Taurus. I want tea right now. Anyway, but yes, back to what I was saying. Sorry, distracted. Yeah, so a lot of people have this chart. Now look at here though. He's got Mars sitting next to it. So he has a stallion in Capricorn. And basically this means that structure, power, authority, long-term planning, duty, endurance, government, discipline, tradition, karma, all that is involved with this. And it's a level of seriousness with that Saturn here. It's a level of intelligence and revolution and fighting for the people with Uranus there. And then you have this compassion, this visionary, this sacrifice, this spirituality, this idealism connected there too. You're talking about next level builder energy. Okay. You're talking about someone who's building systems, building legacies, building ideology, and it's going to last a long time. He's thinking in the long run, he's not thinking for the now. Very, very positive. Very positive. Anyway, it's also soul energy, highly ambitious, very focused into achievement. A lot of political strategies here. Very strong work ethic. Also may suffer from the emotional side of it, but we need people to not be as emotional when you're leading, but leading through competence rather than charisma. And again, this is more of a group situation, a generational placement. Now, what else do we have? Let me see. Is this stallion? We'll talk about that later. Okay, so I just want to break down this chart before I get into the future of things, because I was about to just predict something. Also, what he has here is that the sun is conjunct his north node. You guys, this is amazing. This means like what he, okay, first of all, the sun represents you, your ego, your life, your vitality, right? And your life purpose is sitting there, you and your life. And the sun is highlighting this. It is sitting so close to it. This is like his life purpose. Usually, when I say these things are involved here, like another planet, I would think it's combust, but I don't think this is combust. I think this is working for him. Combust means that the sun is blinding it. No, I think that this is working for him. This is his life purpose. This is his destiny. This is what he was meant to do. And it's in the sign Pisces. He's meant to, like his destiny of power and leadership is meant to take care of the collective, is meant to take care of the less fortunate, is meant to take care of a mass group of people who need love and compassion. Okay, the North Node represents our soul's evolutionary direction, and with the sun sitting there, which represents your identity, your will, your essence, leadership, there's a clear alignment between who he is and what he is meant to become. Now, Pisces is representing compassion and healing and a collective energy, collective love, empathy, embracing spirituality. And so then there's leading with emotional intelligence and inner knowing. This is a soul alignment leader. This is very much not just Malcolm X, but like stronger. And I don't mean to down Malcolm X, because I love me some Malcolm X. Trust me, I love me some Malcolm X. But this is like destiny, because Malcolm X at the end was like, should I be doing this? I shouldn't be with Farrakhan. There, if you know his story, you know that story. I want to read his autobiography. I think I'm gonna order that book. I read it. My dad made me read that when I was in junior high, and I hated it. Not hated the book, but hate that I wanted to be hanging out with friends, and I was reading this thick book at the time. But as I am older, I would love to read it. I think I'm gonna go buy that book ASAP and read it after I finish reading the current book I'm reading, which is a very boring book. I don't even want to tell you. Anyway, but leadership with intuition and empathy and imagination. Yeah, very like aware of the collective when he is leading. He is also connected to the energy of a wounded healer kind of thing, and visionary leadership. Yeah, very strong with his purpose, very strong with divine timing, very strong with being soft and also being strong. It's the feminine energy mixed with assertive, strong, achieving your goals energy. Yeah. What else can I? He can observe and reflect the pain and the needs of the collective. Oh my gosh, talk about the power. I do want you to know that the conjunctions are strong. They are good and bad. And so when you have a conjunction, there's some powerful things, like I just said. On a negative side, I do see the energy of being sacrificed, okay? Of taking into too much pain, or taking in onto too much responsibility, or feeling guilty for others, a risk of martyrdom. I can't say the word martyrdom. sacrificing. There also could be an energy of, yeah, we'll just keep it positive, okay? But the negative side, I can't help myself, is that there could be escapism or over romanticizing something, like the energy of over romanticizing the fact that you are stepping away from Western and French connections, and maybe not all of it needs to be released. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just giving you an example, because in my head, I believe in doing it on yourself. I'm very Marcus Garvey with my opinions over here. Okay. Yeah. So what else do we have here? He is perceived as more than a man. He's like an ideal symbol. That is like a perfect uh something that is very strong with that chart of what I see here. Like, not just seeing him as like a leader, but like almost godlike kind of energy. His leadership may be more like spiritual or moral driven, which is very positive, almost like a prophet, right? Some prophets people don't idolize, but some prophets people will idolize. So you see that, and he could be really leading with his spirituality and his intuition and what does he feel, and then articulating that in a very strong and smart way, because he has a Mars and he has Mercury in Aquarius. Yeah, but very sacrificing his desires. Now another conjunction, because he has a few of them that we see. Remember, this could be good or bad, but this could be strong. But these are two positive planets. Venus and Jupiter are sitting next to each other, and those are the most positive planets you can ever have sitting. They're sitting next to each other. I mean, he had these negative planets, Saturn and Mars. They're kind of no, 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 no. Jupiter and Venus are sitting next to each other. So it's in the sign Taurus. So traditions are very important to him in a huge, big way. There's a lot of positivity. This is what you naturally attract. And he naturally attracts things when it comes to his support, when it comes to his finances, when it comes to the economy, the banks, resources, what he values for his country. He's naturally attracting that. Supportive relationships, very impressive. Glory of love, indulgence also too. Like really like bringing in the gold. I don't see Leo energy. I don't have his time that he's born, but this is still very positive. I think that even if he was born in a daytime or a nighttime, it's very positive, because that affects the reading of a chart, if you didn't know. But they're both sitting next to each other, having a very positive, they're in love. In love. Let me see what else we have here. Sextile, square, trine, and they are trining Uranus and Saturn and they're trining this. You guys, this is so positive. So remember, I told you it's very serious. There's structure, there's stability, there's government, there's alignment, there's caring about the people, there's intelligence here. This is higher intelligence. It's at 0 degrees, high intelligence, and it's working with these planets. They are trying. God is naturally blessing him with support. If you haven't seen pictures, there are people marching. There are huge rallies in support of him. This is his time. This is his time. He is meant to do this. And this is huge. This is very positive. Rarely do I read charts lately that are positive. I'm always reading negative charts. So this is really great to see something so positive. So when you have this trine, that beautiful, these positive planets also trining means no, you don't even have to do work. God is giving it to you. God's going to land it on your lap. But because we're talking about his natal chart, he has constant patterns of positivity, constant patterns of not being negative, constant patterns of positivity, support, abundance, faith, having being optimistic in the things that he's trying to achieve, in the things that are about his future, in the things of hopes and dreams that are very structured, and thinking long term and planting the seed. We're going to see something about that, and thinking about the people who are less fortunate, thinking about the collective, thinking of oneness. He is thinking that Africa is one. You can tell, especially West Africa. Okay. The economy, there's intelligence there, there's resource management. He's talking about land, agriculture, banking, natural resources, and financial systems. All of this is very positive because it's in the sign Taurus. All of that is going to work. It's going to amplify. Venus is there to amplify that. Jupiter is going to amplify that, right? So you're talking about skill in managing wealth. Also, too, Jupiter and Venus represents relationships, and Jupiter also represents around the world. So relationships around the world are very positive for him. They generate abundance without chaos. Policies rooted in being substantial, people owning their resources, Africa owning their resources and having food, not having scarcity, food security and infrastructure may attract financial backing. Also, already is happening. He already said that Russia has already given him something, some type of resource. So it's already working for him. This is crazy. His chart is so positive. I'm telling you, I rarely read the good charts. Far as like I personal readings 101, that's different, but like when you're talking about big public figures, I need to be in a habit of reading more positive charts. Anyway, public trust through values and practical support. Taurus is very practical as an earth sign, so he is being realistic about the goals that he wants to have for Africa and his country. Venus is the planet of relationships and being diplomatic and fairness and justice and popularity. And Jupiter is the planet of wisdom and ethics and expansion. Taurus is very trustworthy. It's about the quality, not about the quantity. It's about calm and presence and tangible results. It's not about the flashy rhetoric. He's not sitting here saying, I want Versace. Hence why he said, I will keep the salary that I made as captain. I don't need to have this salary as a leader. So this is really about a strong, positive leader for the people, someone who values equality, someone who wants fairness and access to resources. Okay, very good at negotiating, a natural peacemaker, values-based leadership, builds wealth and support by staying true to what people actually need and want, possesses a visionary approach to resources. That's what Taurus represents, to any of the resources. So this is very amazing. I don't, usually this placement could represent snobbery, but because it's trining all those planets, I would say no, these are amazing placements. Okay, very economically savvy, very people centered, very value driven. He is focused on long term security, not short term gain. Very positive. What else do we have? Great with relationships too. I want you also very creative energy as well. Now Neptune is also on his chart. These two are also very close. So this is a stallion. However, these two are close, so they're conjunct. These three are conjunct, and this is a more generational thing. Mars is sitting there next to Neptune. That is not a generational thing. This is because he was born that day. So you're talking about Mars is how you achieve things, how you fight war, and he's very compassionate when he's trying to achieve things. He is thinking about the collective. He's thinking about the vision. He's very disciplined. There's strategy. He's sacrificing a lot. Mars is also in Capricorn, is very serious. Ain't no joke. Okay. Yeah. So it's a very positive leadership is what you get with this. Let me see what else. Visionary builder energy, fight for the collective, rebuild broken systems, high stakes legacy driven leader, divine inspiration into policy, law, and construction. All that is very Capricorn energy. So yeah, he's bringing a serious tone. He's thinking about long-term commitment. He's thinking about what else? It's almost like he could have a mentor, someone he looks up to. I wonder if Malcolm X was one of them. On the negative side, this though is that he could be manipulated somehow when you have this. However, it's trining Jupiter and Venus, so I don't think there's much manipulation, but I just have to say that. But very positive when it comes to spirituality, very positive when it comes to compassion and caring about the people. Now, another positive energy, not as positive as the trine, but still very positive. We have that Pluto and is retrograding in Scorpio, and it is sextile Mars. Now, these both planets are in his chart, of course, but I want you to understand that Pluto also represents government. Pluto also, not government, but people who want to have control, people who are like a mystery. So, like the government who is controlling the government, the people who are controlling the government, having complete control, obsessed with power. Now, but on another scale, his two planets that are really about power, Mars, the sun, Pluto, they have positive things happening, and it's all very strong. It's very intense. There's intense willpower. There's courage. He has a powerful energy of releasing. He can transition things. Okay, so this is what I wanted to explain. Pluto in Scorpio is transitioning power, is rebirth of power. And he is going to fight for long-term rebirth of power of his country. Okay, so strategic power and control force, determined efforts towards transformation, rebirth that is of his country, can act with purpose and precision. He can respond and not react. He has hidden strength because you have that Scorpio energy, and self mastery, private about his strength, magnetic drive and serious presence, a builder, a fighter, and a survivor, emotional resilience, tactical precision, emotional control in high stakes environment. Yeah, highly respected energy. Who I would, this is what I would want as a leader. Okay. Oh my gosh. He's able to rebuild systems. Tense or high risk environments. He's able to work with them. This is crazy. His chart is very positive. I know I'm sound like I'm joking him. It's just like I don't know what else to say. Now here's something that is negative, okay? We do have that he has this energy is opposing this energy. Okay. So Venus, not necessarily Jupiter, because it's like 11 degrees apart, but Venus is opposing Pluto. And this is where you have the manipulation. This is where you have the powers that be. This is a collective theme and pattern in his chart and throughout his life. They are going to fight to make sure he doesn't get the support. They're going to fight to make sure he doesn't get the resources or to make sure he doesn't get the friendships and the responsibility, not the responsibility, the resources that they're not going to let that go. They're going to be obsessed with it because this is something he has. So obsession, he's going to have attraction. People are going to be obsessed with trying to control his resources. And what is it I'm trying to say? How he comes off to with people, but support. Those are not the words I'm trying to say, but harmony. They don't want him to have any harmony. There's jealousy, manipulation, love of power, having control. He can also have these things. That chart, this could say that within his chart, that Pluto in Aquarius is obsessed with power. It's retrograding, so it's more internal. We may not be able to see that, or maybe this is something that he really works on because it's retrograding within his chart. So this could be positive. Now, Venus, whenever it's involved with a negative aspect, it could be a possibility that is positive. So he probably is aware of these things. However, when it's outside of his chart, it doesn't work for him. So whenever Venus and Jupiter is around, it gets a little tricky because they can make a negative aspect positive. So I know I say here's a negative one, but this could still be positive because he could be loyal. He could have powerful supporters. He could be very strategic in the things that he does when it comes to his harmony, his balance, his resources. Yeah, or it could be power over resources, and he values those things. But there's a lot of trust and loyalty here, is what I see. A lot of charm, a lot of grace, a lot of it's just very positive. Now let's go to currently in the future. So I'm going to put up a second chart here, and we are going to look at currently. Okay. So, I wanted to say now, why are we aware now? If you see that the sun, when the sun was entered Taurus, when Taurus season first started, this is when everyone was looking at him. The sun was sitting on top of these positive planets, and everyone's looking at him. Now, when Mercury enters Taurus, that's going to happen. I just did a video on it. Mercury enters Taurus. Is it on the 11th? Or is that the 10th? Mercury is going to enter Taurus on the 10th. This is also going to be very positive with him and his messages. He's going to have some big, huge news, either that or big energy with his resources, or maybe the internet is going to push him even more. Yeah, it's going to be very positive when Mercury transits into Taurus, but the sun transiting into Taurus, we got to see it all. And I wonder when Uranus first entered Taurus, how that affected him. But yeah, so that is why we are seeing him. Speak to myself. That's why we're seeing him now. And yeah, so every Taurus season will be very positive for him. Economic leadership and resource power, a lot of popularity, public support, a lot of alliances based on shared resources and values. I wonder if that's when Russia was talking to him. Now, I'm pretty sure China and Russia, they're going to do more contracts here because this represents contracts when this gets when Mercury scoots over there. Venus and Jupiter is trust, loyalty, and tangible results. A lot of negotiations. All that was highlighted. Let me see what else we have here. Okay, also to Jupiter in Gemini. If you see Jupiter is in Gemini and it's sitting here on the Chiron, ignore the houses because we can't look at the houses. And this is also like a huge thing about the wounded voice, about the healer and him being a leader. Chiron in Gemini represents intelligence, it represents communication, it represents media, education, expression. Jupiter is over there being positive, okay? And it's also expansion and truth and philosophy. And now it's highlighting these wounds and him communicating these wounds that he probably carries for the massive. So yeah, media narratives, dealing with what is happening, what needs justice, all that is happening in his chart. Um, yeah, it's very much positive, especially if you are talking about things that are wounded and you have to communicate those things and say it out loud. And yeah, I was looking at a TikTok. I wish I could put my TikToks on here that I was watching, but sometimes it doesn't play the sound, so I don't trust um the system here anyway. But he was saying that you can't trust AI. It was just great, Matt. He was like, because it translates, like it has him speaking in Chinese and Spanish, which he speaks in English. I don't know what other language. I'm sure he has to know other languages, but he was like, you have to watch out for those things. And he's talking to everyday people. It's so amazing. Anyway, but a very healing, wounded healer aspect here and a very positive element. Also, to Mercury in Aries and Chiron in Aries is sextile his Mercury in Aquarius. Okay, so let me tell you about just this, him having Mercury in Aquarius. This is very intelligent energy. Okay, he is highly intelligent. He knows how to communicate with everyone. Hello, Sandra. Whose chart are you reading, please? I am reading. I can't say his. Okay, I'll show you his picture. I am reading. Where is it? This guy's picture. This guy's picture. This guy. His name is Ibrahim. Where is his name? Ibrahim. He is a leader of a country called Burkina Faso. Okay, they're saying he is the next Malcolm X. He has already made major power moves. He has a huge influence. If you just TikTok his name and I put it on my title, you will see how powerful he is. He is transforming a lot, and his chart is amazing. It's very, very positive. Mercury in Aries and Chiron in Aries is sextiling his Mercury. So even the communication of starting a new healing for a collective is already, it's highly intelligent. First of all, Mercury in Aquarius. I want a Mercury in Aquarius. If you have a Mercury in Aquarius and you have positive aspects, I envy you. Good, we need to talk. I need you to help me out. I'm very forward thinking. Communicates with detachment and logic and revolutionary ideas, speaks for the people, often very ahead of his time, naturally a visionary and very strategic when you have Mercury in Aquarius. Now, it's got a positive aspect with Mercury in the sky with Aries, with this discussion of war, discussion of starting new, discussions of being first, and healing of also two very bold speech, blunt truths, initiating tough conversations. Chiron in Aries is the wounds, and it's around identity. What is the identity of Africa? Why is this the identity of our country? We need to heal this. We need to be heard. We need to be accepted. We need new leadership. And together they activate healing through expression and leading through honesty. Very positive. He is all about fight for the people. And he also talked about his volunteers. I follow African politics too. I do not. So this was this is all new for me, and I fell into a little hole, and I am loving this. I'm appreciating this here. Anyway, but the sextile in Mercury and Aquarius is healing with a revolutionary voice, is bridging innovation with action, public speeches and messages that hit deep. That's going to talk about what are the wounds that need healing. Also, too, I want you to understand that he has a natal return coming up in June. May, June. This is coming up. This is already probably feeling close. Now, this is the part where I get a little like, oh my gosh, you guys, because that means that wherever the north nodes are doing, and let me show you this in the chart. Hold on. I have to hold this little mic up. Here is the north node. It's sitting on top of this north node. This is positive. Nodal returns are positive. Now, what is the doomsday of things is that we have eclipse involved. Anytime wherever the nodal, the south node, north node is where the eclipse usually are. And if it's sitting on top of his sun, because it's getting close to his sun. If you see there, then you're talking about anytime you have an eclipse, the old school saying is that there is a death of a leader anytime there is an eclipse. So I just want you to understand that this could be a possibility. Knock on wood, pray to God, no. Okay, and it's not going to happen. This could also be that he is destined to do the things that he's supposed to do. What God has put him on his planet to do, it's about to be achieved and it's about to work. That is also what that means. His spiritual destiny is activated on. It makes me think of the Power Rangers. Didn't they press something and they were like activation or something? They said something. I don't know. I didn't really watch that, but my kids did. Anyway, and it's emphasizing, there's emphasis on Pisces energy. So compassion, leadership, letting go of the ego and having control over that and having a higher cause, not just a political one. You're really talking about the collective energy, and there's a karmic leadership happening here. And Pisces in the North Node is also the peacemaker, it's the prophet, it's the mystic, and very Malcolm X energy. It also embraces that soft power with moral persuasion and visionary policies. Very spiritual leader. I'm like, this is amazing. So this is Pisces energy is divine timing too. So everything is going to happen that is meant to happen. So very positive. Now also too, I put some tarot cards, so stay tuned for that. Also too, it's going to sit on top of his sun earlier than that, around May 27th. Then is really going to see an awakening of his destiny. We're really going to see him be more of a leader than ever. You're really going to see his purpose and what he is meant to do and the work that he's supposed to do, especially in a Pisces theme of love and compassion, elevating that and healing his country and healing his people, and also healing the diaspora. Because if you don't know what diaspora means, it means all of the people from Africa around the world. They are backing him, and there's a healing of that. Now, on in 2026 here, we see what I saw, and then I'll talk about some in 2026, 2024 to 2026. We have here Pluto in Aquarius. It starts to square because you see it's at 12 degrees. It just starts to square his Pluto, and that is power clashes and control over leadership and leadership under pressure. Maybe there is a huge change in leadership happening, a pivotal change. There is a rebirth of something that could be happening: paranoia, suppression, retaliation, power hoarding, creating fear-based loyalty, repeating patterns of political control. Yeah, you're talking about Aquarius, so it could be like within his group. You're talking about Pluto, if he has a moon in Aquarius, because I don't have his time. That could be affecting his homeland and his emotions, and there is a transformation happening here. Yeah, but also like a rebirth of a leadership that could be happening here. So this is a metamorphosis for sure. And we'll see how that plays out, but don't say I didn't warn you. It just gets tougher for him. That's what the people need. Yes, that is definitely what the people need, especially in Africa. Now, I looked at several eclipses that are coming for him in his chart. The solar partial eclipse happening September 21st is going to be in the sign Virgo. It's going to oppose his sun. It's going to be at 29 degrees. His sun is at what, 24 degrees? Let me see. Is that 24 degrees? So not hitting it directly, but it will be affecting him. And this is talking about some details, hard work, being really perfect and really being self-critical. There could be something that's eclipsing that and not being so critical, but it will help him in the long run. Anytime there's an eclipse, it usually changes you from here to here, but that's involving work. Now, as far as February 17th, 2026, there's another solar annual eclipse, and that is going to be on top of his Mercury, and that Mercury is in the sign Aquarius, because I said he's intelligent. That's going to be an Aquarius one that is going to be fighting for the people in a rebellion. Now, this could be positive or negative. So let's see the fighting for the people and how that looks in around 2026. Eclipse or not the exact date. It could be something that's 6 months or 6 months after. So yeah, it could be within a year. That's the part of the eclipse that suck. So now I did some tarot reading for him. Overall positive things here. themes to look out for. First of all, I just want to tell you, I'm looking at someone's chart. His chart is very positive. This is someone you want as a leader. When I discuss Neptune in Aries, there are illusionment of leadership, people who are in leadership, and there's a delusion there. And there's also a leadership that's going to be powerful and it's going to be more of a spiritual element back in it, which is connected to that Malcolm X energy that I explained. And this is what we have here. So this is just a follow-up of that Neptune and Aries video. Now I did a tarot reading for him. And I was like, okay, I just asked a question. What is he doing? And I pulled the 7 of Pentacles. And this is a planting to see. This is that Capricorn energy. He's waiting, he's planning, he's observing. He is very strategic. He's not impulsive. He's assessing what's worth continuing. What do we need to grow? He's also into economic planning. He's rebuilding the infrastructure and reorganizing national resources. He's in a pause before he is in action, which is very great. This is what you want as a leader. Very long-term energy. He is planting the seeds for sure. He believes in you reap what you sow. Okay. He's working behind the scenes, building patiently and waiting for the outcomes to unfold. And then I said, what should we think of him? And I have the 2 of Swords here. This is the energy of being confused and lost and being stuck. People are divided, people are unsure, there's conflict or they're trying to avoid it. Maybe there's guarding intentions here. The public could be uncertain, so you could be dealing with people who are for it and people who are against it, or maybe they are withholding some information, or they don't want to see the big picture, they refuse to see the truth. That could be happening. Yeah, or maybe there is not everyone wants to know what he truly stands for. Or not everyone wants to be they don't want the truth to be revealed. They like living in la la land. They don't want to know that we are effing up countries. They want America to be perfect, and that could be a situation here. Suggests he is deliberate and may even be playing both sides. That's also could be a possibility, but this is what we think of him, the people, the collective, the masses. And I would say that the perception is split. People are probably going to believe the negative stories over the positive stories. But, because I read his chart, I'm believing the positive ones. Now, what is in his future? We have the 7 of Brooms. This is, you see, he's fighting. This is someone who was on stage and now they're fighting the haters. Okay. He's very defensive, combative phase, fighting to protect his position, his ideas, his territory, his homeland. There is opposition rising against him, and he's standing his ground. It's a leader under pressure. That is what's happening for his future. He believes in what he's doing, even if it could be an unpopular opinion. And this is someone just fighting all of the haters. So he has a lot of fighting he has to do. And he maybe seem like the challenger and seem like he's always resisting. I would think that's Malcolm X for sure. Okay. Yeah, his path is definitely a path of resistance. His path is definitely a path of like, I'm not going to retreat. I'm not going to give up, but I'm going to battle this. Okay, so I have here, is he positive for the people? You guys, this is a positive card. This is a justice card. This is a hardcore yes. He wants balance. He wants justice. He wants fairness. He wants the truth. He's acting in integrity. He wants to restore justice and correct the past, what the wrongs were of the past. He wants to carry out karmic or historic justice. He wants people to be accountable. And he wants to withhold the aesthetics of Africa, because this is also very Libra. He wants to improve the relationships with the other countries too, because that is also the card of relationships as well. Now I put about assassination. I had to just look it up. Okay, is something going to happen to our amazing guy here, Ibrahim, which I need to know how to say his name? And I pulled the star card. Like, is something going to happen here? I would say that this is positive. Okay, the star indicates spiritual alignment. It indicates destiny. It's honesty. You see, because the person is not even dressed. So I would say that he's protected. He's guided. He has divine protection. He has a larger mission that shields him from critical, negative. I'm trying to say every word, but pew pew. Yeah. Also, this is a card. Aquarius is a higher octave of Mercury, high communication. He's not going to stop talking. This is a card also too of rebirth. Yeah, and healing and giving to the people. And Aquarius pours out all the energy to the people. Usually the card shows someone pouring water. Is she pouring? She is pouring a sense of like, hold on. You see this person, normally they're pouring water out. They want to pour knowledge to the people and they want to take care of the people. Yeah, but this is a very revolutionary. This is fighting. This is rebellion. Aquarius represents rebellion. It points to the future of healing, inspiration, and timing. Higher calling is at work, moving towards a phase where leadership becomes more of a spiritual charge, a beacon of hope and peace. And yeah, and imagination and future. It's positive, you know, and if something ever happens to him, it will be bigger than ever and it's going to help the people regardless. Okay. So I didn't say yes or no. I'm saying that he is going to be protected. And this is a card that's very positive. I do want you to know that. To that question, if you want to know the answer to that question, yes. Yeah, so far, very positive. You guys, let me know if you have any questions regarding him. If it's a simple question and I think it's intriguing, I'll do a TikTok on it. I know someone said they wanted me to do Rihanna and Chris Brown. You know, in my heart, I'm like, I don't, you know, I wish I would have did Rihanna before she announced her pregnancy. I probably would have saw that, but I think that's more of a TikTok or a reel. So I'm going to do them and I'm going to make it a short for them. But if there's any questions that are deep or anything, I said deep. Because I'm a Scorpio moon, I like to go a little deep. Any questions that I feel that are intriguing, I will put it in the big video like this. And if it's not as, I feel like it's easier to do, I'll throw it in a reel for you guys. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.